Welcome back to Speaking at Will on WXAN 103.9
I hope he didn't hang up
FM.
now after hearing that music.
Oh, now, come on. I'm sure he's a good sport. We've been playing Indian war music here because we're in Southern Illinois, and a lot of DuQuoin Indian fans listen to this broadcast, and we're more than happy and we're privileged to be joined by the head coach for the last 23 years of the Carthage Illini West High School football team, and that is James Unruh. Thanks for taking some time out today, Coach.
Pleasure to be here.
I really do appreciate it. Start right here. Your team's put up some pretty gaudy numbers this year. You scored 77 points in a game against Beardstown, and your average almost 50 a game. What makes your team such a force offensively?
Well, one of the big things this year for us is we've been very, very balanced with our wing T offensive set. We've been able to take advantage of some different things with having 3-4 running backs that run the ball very well, a quarterback that can run very well and also throw very well. And in between there, when you play good defense, you end up in good field position. And I think another thing is we've got an awful lot of kids out for football, and with a lot of kids out for football, some of those kids, when they get a chance to get in there, they like to score points also.
Well, you've got to feel good because your fullback, Stephen Flynn, he's rushed for over 1,300 yards this year, and you've got a junior quarterback, Michael Lefferty, and he's rushed for over 500 this season. And both those guys, they seem to be your top offensive players. They're going to be coming back next season, right?
Well, we only have 4 seniors on our whole offensive lineup, and that's both our guards, both our tackles, all of our so-called skill positions are juniors and seniors on this football team. We're pretty young.
Well, that's got to be a good feeling to have them coming back. But what's a better feeling, I'm sure, was last week's. You're down 23-6, and kind of paint this picture for me because you're down 23-6 with 12 minutes left in the game, and you pulled out a miraculous win. Tell me about last week's game and the emotional roller coaster that must have been for you.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It was pretty bleak there at the end of the third quarter. They had basically shut down our offense for 3 quarters, and every time they had the ball on offense, they moved the ball by running the football and did what they want to us. But in the fourth quarter, they were still able to move the ball on us. But the amazing thing happened was every time we went for broke and did something, it happened in a good fashion for us. I think we converted something like six fourth down conversions. A couple of them were on 4th and 10. We recovered a fumble. We recovered an onside kick. We fumbled ourselves once, but got back on. It's one of those games where the ball fell our way each and every time in the fourth quarter, and we were very fortunate to come out of there with a victory.
You've been coaching there at Illini West for 23 seasons, and you've went to the state championship game 8 out of those 23 years. You've won 4 state titles. What have you done to create that success?
Well, it's been a lot of excitement here, but one thing we've got is players that love the game of football and work very hard to become good players and great players. And second thing is I'm very fortunate to have a great football coaching staff, and when you put those two things together, good things happen for you.
You know, both these teams, DuQuoin and Illini West, are obviously, when you get to this level of play and you get to the end of the year, you're dealing with very talented football teams. Do you think this week's game is going to come down to who doesn't make a stupid mistake or who makes the fewest mistakes?
I don't know if it'll come down to that. It might come down more to who makes the big plays. I look at the DuQuoin football team, and defensively they've been very stingy. Offensively, I tell you what, I put in that film, and it doesn't take very long to find out that their quarterback A.J. Hill is one terrific football player. Throws the ball well, runs the ball well, and I tell you what, don't underestimate what that offensive and defensive line does for DuQuoin also, and you throw that in with one of the best coaches in the state of Illinois with Al Martin, who does a phenomenal job. I just sitting there looking at the IHS website and looking at his overall record of 215-42, which is amazing. And then you look at his playoff record, though, of 46-21. I'm amazed, and you guys can help me with this. Has DuQuoin with Al Martin ever lost a quarterfinal game?
I don't think so.
No.
That's what I was looking at, and I was like, holy cow, that to me is amazing.
They've never lost a quarterfinal game. They either lose before the semifinal or before the quarterfinals, or if they get in the quarterfinal, they're going to win it.
Yeah, he's done an absolutely amazing job with that football team. And looking at their roster, they get an awful lot of kids out for football. And when you get great coaching and you get a lot of kids out for football that are dedicated to your program, you can see why DuQuoin is so successful year in, year out.
His playoff record, and I had this written down on my line of questioning as we were talking today with the head coach of the Carthage Illini West High School football team, James Unruh, is his playoff record. I mean, a lot of high school football coaches wouldn't mind having that as their overall record.
Yeah, his record is phenomenal. I think I wrote down something like 46-21, so he's won twice as many playoff games as he's lost, and you don't see that very often from any coach that's able to take on the best of what the state has to offer and still win twice as many games.
You know, I want to ask you a little bit more of a general question about high school football, and what does that mean to your community in terms of civic pride, economically, and so forth?
I think economics of it is for this year, for example. The luck of the draw was with us as being the number one seed and no upsets in the northern bracket. As we were able to host all 4 playoff games at home, and you can just imagine all the gas money that was spent in these communities here, and all the food that was bought. It surely was great for the economics here, but it's just a lot of fun being able to advance in the playoffs. And one thing is, I don't know if you recognize this, but up until 2 years ago, we had a Carthage High School football program, and we had a La Harpe Northwestern program, and we also had some kids that played for another program that were from Dallas City. And as of last year, those 3 teams came together, and just like you guys, I'm sure, have some big rivalries at DuQuoin. Our biggest rival was actually the La Harpe Northwestern football team. So 3 years ago, that was our biggest rivalry game, and 2 years ago we had to become friends instead of enemies. And I tell you what, there's nothing like football to a successful football team to make communities come together.
Sure, no doubt.
DuQuoin, big thing with football there, they always have on the corner, they have the countdown to football starting with 90 days, and it counts all the way down to the first day of practice. It's everything is football in DuQuoin. They eat, sleep, and breathe football. Is that kind of the mentality up in your area?
Well, I don't know if it's completely the mentality, but we definitely love our football here in these communities. You can go back to 2000 even, where the Carthage team and La Harpe Northwestern team actually played for a state championship, and it's amazing that it's not that many years ago that we played for state championship against each other as rivals, and now we're the best of friends. We got coaches from both those schools came together and put our minds together for the betterment of the community and for the teams.
I assume you're going to have a big turnout from Illini West fans in Champaign this weekend?
Well, I certainly hope so. I would definitely think so. I think the weather will definitely be nice, and even if it is, I think we'll all bundle up and get after it, but I would look for a pretty big crowd.
Anything you'd like to throw into the conversation here that perhaps I haven't asked?
Well, it's just very, very exciting. I know in looking at Coach Martin's record and, being at the state championship game many, many times, I know this is my 9th time at the state championship game. It never gets old. I think he'd say the same thing. It's for me anyway, every bit as exciting as the first time. It's just it's an overwhelming feeling to know that I'm going to be able to coach on the same field with great coaches like Joe Paterno, for example, is Penn State's coach there, and all those other great college coaches and high school coaches, and I'm going to be able to set my feet down in the same place as they were. It's just kind of an overwhelming, humbling type of situation.
I'll ask you this. After this weekend's game, does it take you a little while after a run to the state title game? The following weekend, do you find yourself out in the backyard with a clipboard just kind of yelling plays at nobody, or does it take a while to kind of get keyed back down?
Well, actually, my wife has a wonderful way of bringing me back down to earth. As I basically say, I'm not doing anything with putting up Christmas decorations or anything until football season's over. So, as soon as we get back on Friday night, probably Saturday, she's going to be having me putting Christmas decorations up in the house and outside and taking care of all that stuff I put on the back burners for the last 4 weeks. So she has a pretty darn good way of humbling me and bringing me back down to earth very quickly.
Coach, I appreciate the time today. I really do.
Well, I appreciate it. It's always great to be talking football this late in the season.
No doubt about that. That is head coach of Carthage Illini West High School, James Unruh, and I'd like to wish you luck next week. I hope you do well. I hope everybody stays safe, but I'm still going to have to root for my DuQuoin Indians.
Well, I don't blame you there, not one bit.
All right, have a good one.
I'll be rooting for you, though. Go Chargers.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.